Welcome back to Dove Twang. I'm Dave. We've got kind of a slow, country feeling piece in E here. And what this lesson's really going to hone in on is a couple of things using triads in our melody playing, and not just targeting certain notes in the triad, but like making triad forms and actually kind of separating the notes out with our picking and using that to create melody. And a little bit of a different take on the major pentatonic scale, in this case in E. So I'll have a loop of this backing track that I just played that demo over at the end of this lesson for you to practice with. And real quick, I'll just go over the chords here with you. It's E up to A, back to the E, up to the B, E again, and A, and a little turnaround on the E, B, E. Okay, so everything's major in there. Now, I usually don't go lick for lick a lot with the demos, but today, kinda, because it's really, I made a real concise little, kind of intro solo type thing out of the two skills that I just mentioned. And, why not? Let's just break that down. So when that downbeat, now on this loop, a lot of loops are just a couple of chords and you can kind of jump in anywhere. Here you might want to, listen and see kind of where you are in that. Okay, I'm just getting my bearings here. So we're coming back around. And I'll start here. Okay, so now that's going from the E to that first A. Now, looks like there's a lot of notes here. It's if you're familiar with major pentatonic. Okay, there's several videos on this channel and a lot of other good ones on YouTube that really map that out. I've got one called 12 fret span there's one for the minor pentatonic and the major. They're both in E. So if you want to kind of search for that one, that's a great one if you just really want to start getting familiar with that scale. If you're, pretty confident with that, or you can, kind of follow along, then, you're good to go. So here's what, now I'm not playing every note in that scale in this particular application. So here. I'll come back down on this one. I'll talk about that in a second, why that sounds cool over that A. But let me just break this down for you slowly. So if I'm going, and here's how you can practice too without just using the loop, is make the chord and then kind of say, here's what I'm going to do to connect to the next chord. And you can do that at any speed, right? You're not locked into the metronome. Okay. So what I'm playing, there's the first four notes of the pentatonic and then going up to the first tone again, or the tonic, the E. There's the little exercise for it, right? Get that in your ear too. You're looking at it and trying to memorize it. That's fine, but you'll get that sound. In this case, we're not going all the way up there, but that's a good little exercise for it, right? Now, when I that time I picked out a couple of notes instead of sliding it, but I like to slide. There's just a 2-octave stretch of it to practice too. Okay, now in this lick, what I do on the 3rd octave of it, and you see this is really, there's a lot of repetition in here, and that's what's kind of cool about it. Once you learn it somewhere, you can transfer it, fairly quickly, and because it's the sound of it, and you'll recognize that right away. Now, instead of going up here, I bend this one, but it's the same idea as the same notes, essentially, right? Then I just kind of come back down. Okay, take some practice if you're not used to those kinds of bends and kind of doing things that are on the same fret like that. I know it's tough at first, but if you recognize that or you're already doing some stuff like that, great. If not, that's a good, kind of simplified version of it to practice. So we've got. Now, when that lands on that, when that progression turns to A, it lands on that note. And that's a chord tone of A, right? It's not the note A, that's A. It's the 5th of A. It happens to also be E. Hear the nice harmony on that? So this is a real simple touches that we're putting on this piece, but they're really nice ones, right? They're rich in sound. So let's see if we can get caught back up here. I don't want to spend a lot of time waiting for the loop all the time, but and so you don't have to, because you can, once you get these going, you can kind of lay them in wherever you want in the tune, but I'm waiting this time to show you a real clear example of this. See that? Okay. Now, don't worry about getting every little stroke of the pick exactly like what I'm doing here. Get the concepts, and then I'll show you at the end here how you can really jam on this. You don't have to. This isn't a, measure by measure kind of tedious thing that you have to do. But I wanted to show you a real clear version of that run there, that slow E major pentatonic run. Now, when I get to when there's the next time there's an E chord held, I'm using 3 different triads for E. And that's on the way from the E to the B. Now, this stuff's interchangeable. You could do something like that from your E going to your A, right? You just change the landing part of it. Now, this is really cool, I think, because it just sounds like a lot of notes, but conceptually it's very consolidated. So here's a triad for E. Okay, if you're not familiar with these, that's okay. It's a good time to start taking a look at them. If you are, then you're ahead of the game. There's one. Here's one. If you want to think caged, that's part of that C. Right? This is part of the A cage shape. Sorry, I'm running into my amp over here. There we go. And then I'm very familiar, sort of an E cage shape for E, right? So. Then just down to a B of your choice. That's a B. That's a B. That's a B. Now let me show you where I fit that in. Again, don't get caught up in, whether it's the timing of every beat and stuff. Just I think we just missed it. All right, so there's a little example of how you can play that lick somewhere else. So here we go. Okay. And like I said, I don't want to take up your time like waiting for that loop to go around and around like that, but now, to time it, just kind of use your own sense of timing. Like what I like to do, or what I kind of naturally did on this one, was I held this one. Right, it just made sense to me. Right, I wasn't going to be able to do the identical rhythmic thing on each one of them, or wasn't really worried about that. Right. But I played this a couple times around. I had to do a few takes of it, so after I practiced it a little bit before I made that video, that the intro that you saw. I had worked out a couple little things. So I'm going to do like a on that one, and then some quicker. The important thing was I was going to get to that B and land it with another triad right there. Right. Those are the two main concepts about this lesson. And so I feel like we could almost kind of, stop there. But I want to show you something that the end part of it, just real quick, I played a flat 7 of that E in the second half of the progression. Don't get too caught up in all of this. But if you're wondering what that note was like, I didn't play an E7 chord. I didn't change my chord on the backing track. That organ part might have signified a flat 7. I'm not sure. But it's just kind of a natural thing to do in there, And it sounds cool against that regular E. And then I just went down to some other, like an A kind of triad, and then that turnaround, I remember, was at the end of the progression. I just did something, I don't remember exactly, but probably something like, right? Maybe I picked out the notes, maybe I played them more as a chord or a pinch, right? These are all the things that you get to do, as they come to you. That's what makes it fun, right? There's satisfaction, like, I copied that lick off of that video exactly, and now I can do it. And that's cool. I like to do that too sometimes. But, using this as a way to explore your own choices is going to get you playing music with it in a much deeper and more sophisticated way faster. Here's a little philosophical tip for you. So, let's put this on, and I won't talk too much. Now, having watched this lesson portion, see if you recognize, more of the mapping that's going on. Okay. And, that laid back feel, and that's kind of what to me, that's what this style wants. Later on, band kicks in. This is almost like an intro, right? But you could really get this spinning. You could get a lot of stuff going with the different bass lines and things. Sort of like when Jerry Band plays like "Twist of Fate" or a song like that. Okay, you know, kind of a repetitive progression that's a pretty simple progression, but they just keep layering and layering upon it with those different, that little flat seven thing is kind of a little teaser of that kind of idea, right? You can put in, you can jazz it up a little bit, or a lot in Jerry's case, but you do it in increments, right? Just come out the first time around and pull out all that wild stuff that he's doing. He kind of just plays the melody of the song, and then it starts to creep around in those little bit darker places. I really like that. So hopefully this helps you out, and let me know how it goes for you. Come back and see you soon. Take it easy.